Don't be scared to death to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. I feel uniquely qualified to talk about this particular idiom, which is our idiom selected to go in and coincide with today's BU 365-day challenge. Today's annual challenge paradox is what I call the death paradox. The more afraid you are of death, the less you are really able to live. And so in 2010, I had a sudden cardiac arrest and actually died. Got brought back because I'm obviously not dead now. I'm here talking today. And all of the situations follow around that particular event happened in a way that allowed me to be one of the people that survives that type of an incident. And it, of course, changed my life, changed my trajectory of my life and where I was going and what I was doing. And it was an essential event, as much as most people would say, geez, I don't want to die. It was the thing I had to experience in order to give myself permission to change a whole lot of what I was doing in my life that wasn't working out for me. Obviously, it wasn't working out for me. And I shared that story today in the annual challenge in a little bit more detail, but it's not necessary here. Scared to death is one of those idioms that I have a personal affinity to, not because I was ever afraid of dying, because for some reason I have never personally felt worried or concerned or afraid of dying. Maybe that's because somehow my, big me knew that at some point in my life I was going to have a death experience. Anyway, this idiom, this expression, scared to death, means to be very, very afraid of something. To be very frightened, to be frightened so badly that you think that you would or could have died. We all get near miss, well, not all of us, but a lot of people get in near miss situations. My daughter and my granddaughter were just in a car accident that, just like me, they must have had a guardian angel or something, because they came out pretty much unscathed. My daughter's pregnant with her second daughter, my third granddaughter, but her second baby. And everything is fine with the baby. Everything is fine with her. All of her bruises are healing. And my granddaughter was sleeping, and all the airbags, everything went off, and it happened in such a way that she wasn't really hurt or harmed at all. So we all have those things that scare us to death, and then they impact how we behave going forward. This was used in the legendary Sherlock Holmes, the Hound of the Baskervilles, in which it's been written, of course, by Arthur Conan Doyle, and Charles Baskerville actually dies of a heart attack brought on by psychological stress. Now, my sudden cardiac arrest, hindsight being 2020, looking back on that, was caused by massive psychological and physical stress, but mostly psychological, because there were a lot of different areas and aspects of my life that were crazy out of control back then, and they all sort of culminated in me thinking, I don't know what to do about this. I was in a place where I had never in my life remembered saying to myself, I don't know what to do about all of this in this situation. And I was, for about a month prior to that sudden cardiac arrest, walking out of a city council meeting in a position where I was repeatedly questioning in my mind what to do next, what to do about this, which is part of why I'm so adamant about helping other people to take that next step, to know what to do next. And maybe it's not the perfect next step, but to get moving in the direction they need to go, that we all need to go in order to make our lives work. So I looked up some, how do you get over the fear of death, the fear of dying, things on the internet. And they, of course, had a list of 9 things that we can do to overcome the fear of death. And so in the challenge today, I just said, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not afraid, 10 being scared to death, how would you rate your fear of death right now? And then I gave this list of 9 different ways, 9 different things we can do to reduce our fear of death. Because guess what? If you're afraid of death or anything else, how likely are you to be building and growing and supersizing your business? You're not. Because every little thing, you're focusing on what could go wrong, all of the risks, and then you're not taking any action because you get frozen in your tracks, which is the same with our life. If we're afraid of anything, death especially, we will not do the things that we could possibly do to make our life better. So what are some ways that we can overcome the fear of death or the fear of anything else? Number 1, exercise. Move our bodies, change our physiology. Talked about this a lot. Number 2, meditation. Some of the most successful people, believe it or not, meditate. And if you don't know how to do it, there are millions of YouTube videos for free. There are millions of resources. All you have to do is Google it just like anything else and find the practice that works for you. I did, following my sudden cardiac arrest, a whole lot of learning and understanding and personal development growth, and tying back into understanding myself better. And meditation is one of the tools and the practices I learned following that and do every day. It's not on this list, but I actually have a hypnosis app that I listen to every single day. I think I was on day 404 in a row today of listening to at least one hypnosis session every single day, usually at night before I go to bed. 3, talk therapy and support. Join a support group of people that have been through death experiences. I think some of the best people to talk to, if you're going to do talk therapy, are somebody that's been through and overcome the fear of the thing that you have the fear of. So if you're afraid to quit smoking, find somebody who's quit smoking and find out how they did it. Join a support group to help you quit smoking. Join a group or find a group. And I guarantee with the internet nowadays, you can find a group that can help you overcome a fear of absolutely anything. Number 4, change your habits. Again, just kind of like moving our body and changing our physiology. Sometimes all it takes is changing one little habit to get us over that fear that paralyzes us or negatively impacts our choices and our actions or inaction. Usually if we're afraid of something, we stop taking action. Number 5, learn to know what triggers your anxiety or stresses you out. What kind of things make you stressful? Those are called triggers. I had a whole bunch of them, and they all were simultaneously firing before my cardiac arrest. Number 6, there's something called exposure therapy. I don't know what this is. I don't know how you would expose people to a lot of scary death experiences or something. But that's obviously something else that's out there that people could explore in order to overcome a fear of death or a fear of anything else. Number 7, seek professional support if necessary. 8, get therapy. If you need help, one of the hardest things for some of us to do, especially if you're a go-getter, is to ask for help. And sometimes that's all we need to do is ask, and then the answer comes to us. And then finally, number 9, consider medication. If your anxiety or your fear of something is to the point where medication would help, and again, I think medication is a tool like anything else that we can have in our toolbox, and if it works, you use it for the time to overcome your fear or your anxiety about something or different situations or death, and then you can like wean yourself off that. So curious, scale of 1 to 10, how afraid of death are you? And I'm suspecting in this group that there isn't a whole lot of fear of death because we're a group of people that have started our own businesses and are building and growing and supersizing them. In order to do that, you have to be pretty brave and pretty courageous and not be, at least not to the point of fear that we're letting things stop us. All right, any questions, hit me up. Have an absolutely awesome day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye.